everybody. I've enjoyed this so much. I was just panicking that my vibe is so different. And I was like, maybe I should read something newer. But I just pulled it up on my phone, and I think it's too dark in here. I can't do it. I won't be able to see. So you're going to get the different vibe. That's on my bright white book. So here's some fiction. A nice thing about this being a novel in stories is that I'm reading from the middle, but hopefully you don't need to know anything. This is a story called Decision Making for Safe and Healthy Living. It's set in 2006. I wanted to read this one because my book is, it just turned 1 year old, and I've never read from this story before. Thank you. I let myself into Zoe's house, a 2-bedroom ranch a few blocks from where we grew up as neighbors, and spot her sitting cross-legged on the floor, her 2-year-old trying to wedge his head into her armpit while she balances her newborn in one arm and holds her cell phone in the other. I kick off my sandals and head right past the little family to the kitchen sink, where I scrub my hands up to my elbows. Then I drop down to the nubby carpet and claim the baby, gathering her sweet sleeping self to my chest. Growing up, Zoe and I were best friends, but now we're more like sisters. I don't mean to say that we're closer now than we used to be, although I also don't mean we're not. Zoe winks at me, extricating herself from Billy's desperate grasp before running for the back porch, phone clenched to her ear. Billy stands up as if to follow her, but then seems to notice that I've got the baby in my arms. My baby, he says. He points at her, a complicated motor skill that involves his thumb as much as his index finger. His blonde hair is sticking out on one side, and his round tummy is exposed under his blue striped shirt. He looks enormous compared to the newborn. What's your baby's name, I ask. I haven't met her before. The baby is sleeping hard, her mouth open, a tiny improbable snore escaping each time she exhales. Billy screws up his face. Minnie, he says, tentative. He looks around for his mother. I think it might be Maddie, I say. Minnie is a mouse. He contemplates this for a second, staring off to the side. Then nodding, he says, Maddie. You remember my name? He's bashful, knowing he should know, and yet he doesn't. I don't blame him, of course. I only make it out for a visit every few months, and in little kid time, that's an eternity, like asking me to remember the name of someone I met 10 years ago. Talene, I say. Then slower. Talene. Talene is coming for lunch, he says, repeating what Zoe must have been telling him all morning. He clenches his face again. Talene? Yes, Billy? I have a poop, he says. I sniff the air and can confirm. I lean back, trying to see what Zoe's doing out on the porch. She's pacing, and while she was mostly listening to the other person on the phone before, now she's the one talking. It doesn't look great, whatever's going on out there. I'm holding Maddie right now, I tell Billy. I don't think I can do that and change her diaper. He looks at me with both wispy eyebrows raised, like there's something major wrong with me. I wear underpants, he says. Good to know, I say, scooting so my back is up against the couch. The baby, all 6 pounds of her, is getting heavy. I was surprised when Zoe told me she was pregnant again. I thought of her as such a new mom still. But Billy's not a baby. He's a person now, standing in front of me, rubbing his eyes with his fists and waiting to be entertained. With a hand not holding the baby, I point to his pile of books. Pick one out, I say. We make our way through quite the stack of animal stories before Zoe finally returns. I'm so sorry, she says. Don't apologize to me, I say. Billy needs his diaper changed and thinks I'm incompetent for not being able to do it while holding the baby. You could have just put her in the bouncer, she says, gesturing. Then she pauses, adjusting the waistband of her stretch pants. I mean, oh my God. First, of course you shouldn't have done that. Second, Billy doesn't wear diapers. At this, he shoots me a triumphant look. What are you supposed to do when you have to poo? She hoists him up under her arm. We'll be back in a few, she says. Promise me you'll never have kids. I promise, I say. She pauses outside the bathroom door and looks at me over her shoulder. I'm kidding, she says. So are you, right? We have lunch, a decadent spread of sushi I picked up in the city to celebrate Zoe being able to eat raw fish again. 9 months without sushi was her main complaint about pregnancy, as well as a small chicken teriyaki for Billy, and then Zoe puts on a cartoon. Billy races around the couch 3 times, an expression of exuberant happiness, before settling down to watch. Pre-Maddie, he got 3 episodes a week. I've upped his dosage, she says. She reaches behind her for a nursing cover, patterned with little sheep, and slides the baby under it, exposing a blue-veined boob as she does. Sorry. You've got to stop apologizing, I tell her. Oh, please, she says. Me. What's going on with you? I pull my feet under me on her big cushy couch, the kind that wouldn't even fit through the door of my apartment. Well, I'm working in an after-school program. In the interview, the director made it sound like I'd be teaching art, but really it's mostly homework help. Zoe nods along, her bloodshot eyes trained on me, telegraphing that she's listening so hard I think she can't possibly be. Alex, she asks. When Alex graduated our MFA program and headed back to New York, and I came with him, even though I still had a year to go, no one was very happy with me. Not my advisor, even though it didn't seem like she thought I had much potential. Not my parents, who assumed rightly that dropping out limited my job prospects. Not Val, who had just moved to Austin, who I'd convinced to apply there, who was supposed to share my apartment. No one was happy with me except for Zoe, who thought it was all very romantic. He's all right, I say. And he is, I'm sure. He's the kind of guy who's always doing just fine. I don't feel like going into it, how we broke up almost as soon as we moved back here, and how he has work in 2 group shows as we speak, while all I have is an easel wedged into the corner of a bedroom. The bedroom itself wedged into the corner of a loft I'm sharing with 3 other people I barely know. Zoe wouldn't get it. Zoe's got enough to think about right now. She opens her mouth like she might ask a rare follow-up question, so I veer left. Are you going to tell me about that phone call or what? I was hoping it would be over before you got here, she says, switching the baby to the other side. Does that hurt? I ask. She nods toward Billy. That one hurt, she says. With this one, I don't feel much. He might have killed my nerve endings before she got to them. I'm pretty over it, though. I sent Brian to the store for formula yesterday, but he came back claiming he couldn't figure out which one to buy. Wait, I said, we digressed. The phone call. Don't get mad, she says. Mad, I repeat. I haven't been mad at her since 5th grade, when she told me she was getting her ears pierced, even though I wasn't allowed yet. If I got mad at her every time I probably should have, we'd never have made it this far. That's not the right word, just don't think this is bad. She looks at me with her mouth pursed. Remember Officer Bradley? Our DARE officer, I ask. Do you know what DARE is?
Yeah.
I can picture him in his uniform, buttoned too tight across his broad chest, his hair spiked, standing with meaty legs spread in front of our middle school health class, warning us about the irrevocable dangers of smoking 1 marijuana cigarette. I'm not having an affair, if that's what you're thinking. Zoe pulls at the waistband of her stretch pants again. She props the baby on her shoulder, palming her back to burp her, and clicks the remote to put on another show, or maybe the same show again, for Billy. He pulled me over a few months ago. Billy was with Brian at a Mets game. Side note, he slept through the whole thing, and Brian was appalled. I wasn't speeding. I was on the phone with you, remember? I do remember. She was mid-sentence when the siren started, but called back later that night as if nothing had happened. So he was about to write me a ticket, and then he straight up recognized me. I was embarrassed. We were such dorks in middle school. I frown at being implicated. But like he gave those stupid anti-drug speeches to bazillions of kids, and he remembered me. We all used to think he was so hot. I mean, it's a little flattering, right? I shrug. He lets me go, I thank him, and I continue to Dressler's to have a burger, kid-free. I was already pregnant, although not really showing. You remember I had that serious red meat phase? 10 minutes later, he shows up there, too. I invite him to sit with me. We talk, and then after that, we wind up texting, a few hours on the phone every now and then. He asked me to drinks a few times, but I always had an excuse. I squint, watching her run her finger up and down the soft fuzz on the back of her baby's head. Zoe was the first friend I knew to get married. She called shrieking that he'd finally proposed to her down the shore at sunset, a Jersey girl dream. I still felt very young, but Zoe and Brian seemed ready to get on with it. The jobs, the house, the kids. And they seemed happy. Am I naive to think anyone's relationship is beyond reproach? Zoe is talking to me about a police officer of our youth. I get 2 glasses of water from the kitchen, pass her one, and take a long sip of mine. Do you think, I say slowly, that he could have run your plate and found out your name before coming to your window? Zoe bites through her thumbnail. I cringe at the muffled crack. What's the rest of the story, I ask, get to the phone call. Well, he pulled me over again, she says, like just before Maddie was born. He came to the window with this big grin, and then God, Tali, you should have seen how his face fell. Billy was in the car, my belly was ludicrous. It occurred to me I hadn't been wearing my wedding ring at Dressler's because my fingers were already so swollen. Nothing happened though, I say. Like physically, even emotionally, really for you? She shakes her head hard. You know how you just felt reading that stack of books with Billy? Imagine that's your everyday. Literally your entire everyday. Not that babies aren't a blessing. Babies are a blessing. I love every minute. But I was bored, honestly, and figured Colin was texting a million other equally bored housewives. If what he says is to be believed, though, he had this whole fantasy based around me. He thought we were taking it slow. Why the call today, I ask, if he pulled you over a few weeks ago? I haven't picked up, she says. He called from a different number today. He's been driving by the house. Yesterday, I think I saw him parked around the corner. Not to be alarmist, I say, but he has a gun, you know? Should you tell Brian? She widens her eyes. I should not. Billy stands up, turns, and says, Mama, poop. Without missing a beat, she passes the baby to me, grabs Billy, and bounds toward the bathroom. I fold back the little flaps on the baby's onesie. Her fingernails are the smallest things I've ever seen. I hold her close. She roots around like she wants to nurse. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. It's like trying to imagine a sixth sense. I stand up, bouncing her and pacing, until I stop to study a framed picture collage of Zoe and Brian's wedding. She was only 22 and looks unbearably beautiful in her gigantic poofy princess gown. There were 10 of us bridesmaids, all wearing matching strapless satin dresses. Zoe hired someone to do hair and makeup for all of us. I tried to resist, to explain that I'd rather do my own, but she wouldn't let me get away with it. She knew that, left to my own devices, I'd have my hair in my face, black eyeliner, and not much else. All done up in the photos, I'm practically unrecognizable. My hair curled and stuck with a giant rose. My lips lined and painted the same sort of brown as all the other girls. I look like I'm in Jersey drag. Sorry, Jersey. From Jersey. Billy tears out of the bathroom, pantsless. What do you feed this kid that he poops so much, I ask. She shakes her head. He says it sometimes to get attention from me. It's like the one thing he does I can't ignore. He doesn't have to go and he won't put his pants back on. She shrugs. Who cares, right? Exactly, I say. No pants, no problem. We both admire Billy's round bum, then laugh as he yawns and rubs his eyes. Zoe catches the yawn. I look at the clock. It's a delicate thing visiting a friend with a new baby. I should go, I say. Zoe nods. I think it's nap time here. I kiss Billy's head. Staring open-mouthed, he refuses to say goodbye. Zoe rolls her eyes, hugs me, and takes back Maddie. Don't answer the phone again, I tell her. All unknown calls go to voicemail. She gives me a salute, but then says, yeah, okay. By the front door, I pull my well-worn shoes off the rack that holds Billy's tiny blue Velcro sneakers, Brian's Adidas slides, and what looks like 35 pairs of Zoe's flip-flops in every color and shade imaginable. Then I head out, easing the door shut behind me. Zoe's lawn is so perfectly manicured, her car is shiny, black, and enormous. It has one of those stick figure drawings on the rear window. Brian, Zoe, and Billy waving at me. They need to update it now that Maddie's here. I wonder what Zoe and I would have made of ourselves now, back when we were kids. Or I don't. Looking at the outline of our lives, we both have at least some of what we wanted back then. I don't think we'd realize what we're missing. The walk to my mom's house takes about 10 minutes, just slightly longer than it did when Zoe lived in her childhood home a few blocks from here. I jog across the lawn, taking a shortcut through a few backyards. As I do, I see just up the block a cop car. Lights off, not idling, just parked there on the street. Is he inside? I crane my head, trying to see. There's definitely someone inside. As I head up the street, I can't help wondering what the hell Zoe was thinking. What did she expect, texting with a cop? Although back then we did think he was hot, back when we were taught that cops were here to help. Zoe might still believe that. The boys our age and teen idols we loved were so skinny. It had been a shocking thing to see the contours of Officer Bradley's body in his uniform. Did he wear it that tight on purpose? I almost wish that Zoe had slept with him so she could tell me what it was like. But I believe her that she didn't. If she says it's over, it's over. The nerve of this guy bothering a woman with a newborn. I pause on the sidewalk, pluck a shiny dark green leaf from a hedge, and crumple it in my hand. I'm a good friend, right? The last thing Zoe needs is this dude hovering around her. I turn around. I'm tentative, approaching the car. I half think it isn't him, that I'll get close and it won't be. Even when I'm right up next to the window, because of the way the sun bounces off of it, I can't tell. I see myself, not who's inside. I'm pale. I bite my lips to make them redder. My heart, I can hear my blood in my ears. The instant before I raise my fist to rap on the glass, I know I shouldn't do it, but it's too late. The window is already lowering. My own reflection scrolls past and disappears. I look at him through the open window, a breeze moving through my hair. His eyes are the bright blue of his uniform. He says, "Talene?"